A few things happen to the body before you launch in an Audi R8 V10. Your pulse quickens, your hairs stand on end, muscles tense, and pupils dilate.
You're really taking this moment away from me. We've talked about this. You don't narrate people's lives.
Sorry.
The question is, since this car is so fast, can a man who once cried when he accidentally poured his milk before his cereal, and whose girlfriend's favorite name for him is...
No!
The 2020 Audi R8 V10 Performance is what was once called the V10 Plus. You can only spec an R8 with the V10 now, and this is the more monstrous one. Along with its new name, we get, over here anyway, 602 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque, some retuned steering for both the dynamic and the standard setup, and there's some new chassis modifications made in the spirit of stability and precision.
Often referred to as the supercar you can live with every day, we jumped at the chance to try it for a week, because why not? You'd be bonkers to not want to have a go in a naturally aspirated V10. And as spec'd, it can be all yours for 240,000 Canadian smackaroos.
If you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing around. So subscribe and hit the bell.
R8 V10 Performance.
Oh my god, the engine! Oh man. Oh, V10, 3 inches from your head is the coolest thing that you can do.
This car shares 50% of its DNA with the GT3 car and 60% of its DNA with the R8 GT4 car. That's the same amount of DNA percentage sharing as a human and a chicken. Don't know if that helps.
Revs all the way to 8,500 RPM. Naturally aspirated V10 right out of the Huracan. And the best part about it is that since it's naturally aspirated, you really do have to lay into it right to the red line to feel the horsepower. You can feel it come on cam at about 6,000 and it just punches you back into the seat. It's wonderful. An absolute masterpiece of an engine. And the sound. Listen.
It is throw yourself in the seat back level of speed. It hits 100 kilometers an hour in a hair over 3 seconds. That's absurd, and it does it incredibly confidently because it sends it to all 4 wheels. And thanks to these insane carbon ceramics, it stops just as hard as it accelerates. Ugh. Do I wish it was manual? Yes. The Gen 1 R8 gated shifter is stuff of legend, and these not so exciting shifting paddles don't make the transition any easier. However, in manual mode, the shifts are rapid.
Listen to how fast the shifts are. It's insane. There is no gap.
In auto mode though, the downshifts are quite violent and it kind of throws you forward before it throws you back into the acceleration as it drops down a few gears. There's a pause.
James was saying that in comfort mode, it kind of throws you forward then back. Let's try that. So we're just in comfort mode right now. Oh yeah. That is a bit weird. I don't know if you saw that. The transmission needs a second to get into that lower gear and there's a weird gap where you decelerate and then it whumps you with a V10.
Now the R8 is often called the usable supercar, and it is definitely both those things. I've been driving this in Toronto, and we drove a car almost as fast as this recently, the AMG GT63S, and that was a nightmare to live with. This in comfort mode gets to become a normal car again, and that's in thanks to the fact that this one is spec'd out with its mag ride suspension, so it can adapt the dampers.
Drive select. Comfort mode is super comfortable. Dynamic mode is very, very different.
And even though it gives you that performance and that sound, if you want to drop it down into comfort mode and look like a normal guy around town, especially in this grey colour, it doesn't look that crazy, it's not that flash. Understated though it is, Audi have still gone overboard in some places. For example, the wheels are not cast or forged like your wheels might be. These are milled from a solid aluminium block. Not a cheap process, and that's why you have to pay $2,500 more for it. And I think the stock 19s actually look a little bit better.
In dynamic mode, the car does feel very easy to drive. It's not scary at all. And a lot of that is down to the Quattro system. Not all Quattro systems are created equal. In fact, in the Audi TT RS, it's just a Haldex system like you'd find in a Golf R. But this is different. It has a new electro-hydraulically activated multiplate clutch in the front, which can send a little bit of power to the front when needed. But more importantly for me, there's a mechanical limited slip differential in the rear.
And that means it has a simple, natural rear-wheel drive feel, but just enough all-wheel driveness to keep things from getting out of hand. So the next question is, how does it handle the business of corners?
So this has the dynamic steering, which is kind of a weird thing that changes the steering ratio depending on how fast you're going. I don't like that concept. I haven't noticed it being that obtrusive, but in dynamic mode, it's not on, so it just has a fixed steering ratio, which is nice to know. How is the steering? How does the car handle? Incredibly direct, very light, delicate front end. The steering doesn't have a whole lot of feedback to it, but it's so incredibly precise. I feel like I could place the front end of this car on the road with millimetric precision. It's incredible. That said though, while it is very rear-wheel drive, and if you really lay onto it in a corner, you can kind of feel the rear start to walk away, I find that honestly, this is one of the least scary cars that I have driven in a long time. It is so well sorted that in certain ways, I could see how one would make the argument that maybe it's not that exciting. But it actually is. It really, really is. Compared to other cars on the road, this is incredibly fun to drive. I have driven the NSX, and that is a lot more boring than this. And a lot of that is thanks to the thing behind me.
There's something about the sound of the engine right behind you. All those times anyone's ever shushed you in a hallway or told you not to do something, it feels like you're going back in time just to shut them up. That's the power of that sound. This car.
So good.
Right? And thanks to the Quattro, if you're wearing light colored trousers, they're still the same color at the end.
Oh yeah, because it's not that scary
it's not
to drive.
That scary.
No, it's
People
really
think
not.
the new facelift is slightly scary though, because it's a
Okay.
bit more monstrous, a bit more aggressive looking.
Got my opinion?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I
You
don't.
prefer the one just before this?
Yes.
That's fair. Well, we got annoyed at the TTRS because the one thing they did with that facelift was give it fake vents.
Yes.
Fortunately, they haven't done that for this.
Oh, really?
No, they've done it worse. It's been done. Look, this is an ode to Sport Quattro, but they're
Yes.
fake. This is fake.
Oh, these are fake, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fake too.
Yeah, you can find them if you go around. It's a
Oh,
shame.
this is real, 'cause that's the
like
intake for the
maybe
engine,
it's
but-
okay on a Type R, maybe it's okay on a Supra, but when you get to this price,
Is it okay on this?
unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it's
Otherwise, it's still a supercar.
still absolutely a supercar.
It's so much road presence. It's actually not actually that big.
Carbon fiber everywhere.
Yes.
No, in pictures it looks bigger.
I agree, yeah.
Oh, we have black emblems as well now.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then obviously these
V10.
wheels,
Oh, yes. You've already told the ladies and gentlemen that you do not like them.
because they look just like normal diamond cut Camry wheels, and they've gone through a really cool process.
Really cool process.
Yeah.
Like on the Pagani Huayra, those are milled out of a solid block of aluminum, and they look like a work of art.
Right, but how expensive is a Pagani Huayra?
$1 million. A
Yeah.
lot of money. Interior?
It's a significant door.
It is very significant. This is really. Oh, I didn't notice this before. The quilted Alcantara. On
Yeah,
the
well, we
side.
got diamond quilted leather seats.
Yes. Are these extra?
$6,200.
$6,200.
But
Wow.
but you get to choose the colours.
Yeah.
And also, I would go for the bucket seats, which are half price.
Because these don't hold you in that well.
No, and if you want to drive aggressively, they're great for touring though. They're
Yes,
great for
they're
like
very
long
comfortable.
journeys.
They're very comfortable. Yes. Okay. The rest of this interior. Can I
It's-
start with the steering wheel?
Yeah, well, it's the best thing ever.
It is the best thing ever. There's buttons on it.
There's buttons on it.
No, it's so good. Like
No, I'm
it's,
just going to tape a calculator to your E46 and just be happy.
that's all I need. Otherwise, the materials in here are familiar.
Yeah, well, this looks like a daddy version of a TTRS.
It kind of does.
Right, the infotainment's there. We haven't got anything here.
Right. It does feel more special though.
And squashed.
And squashed. It's a squashed TTRS. It's wider. Like that's a far distance to that door all the way over there.
I'm very comfortable. Bang & Olufsen stereo.
Yes.
Apple CarPlay,
Yes.
Android Auto.
Very nice.
Wireless charging.
Very good.
There's a few creature comforts in here. Heated seats.
Otherwise, this feels really special. It feels supercar. It feels unique, and it's very spacious and comfortable. Conclusion? Yeah. Okay.
So, the R8 V10 performance gives you staggering sound, acceleration, and confidence. Is it lacking that edge, that danger? Sure. But with increasing crime rates and cultural tensions, we have to ask ourselves, do we?
James, stay on topic.
That is to say, the R8 still earns the award of an incredibly livable, dailyable supercar that's potentially the last of the naturally aspirated V10s. Still though, wonder what that e-tron supercar stuff's going to be like.